Sure. Okay. I mean, the interface that you're seeing at the moment is your player character interface. So basically, a lot of the RPG elements will be tied to this. First introduction to the kind of humor that we're trying to introduce here. I guess you'll notice that the player's name, or the character's name rather, is Walker de Blanc. He's a French cat. So, Marco, let's go. So basically the first mission you have there is to find the faction leader's mansion. I guess the premise behind the game is we have 4 factions, 3 of them follow a typical pirate code. And the player is basically tasked with championing each faction and then, of course, uniting them all, giving them player the strength to actually go up and defeat the 4th faction, which is our bad guys from called the Pirates of Black Cove. So yeah, we're now in the pirate stronghold, and Marco's basically going to lead the player up to the faction mansion. You'll see a classic example of interactions. What we're trying to avoid here is situations or large portions of gameplay where the player has nothing to do, so we have interactions with NPCs that actually are a source of side quests and side missions. So here we have a guy who's basically, because your reputation is really low in this faction at this point, being so early on, he's arrogant, he has a condescending tone toward you. But as your reputation grows, so that tone will change and it'll be more respect-based and so on. So here basically he's telling him of a treasure map that he's found or knows of. It belongs to Mr. T. So basically what Marco will do now is go find Mr. T, who's now in the city square, or should be.
Is he an Englishman by any chance?
Well, we were actually going to call him Mr. T with a Mohican, but we thought we'd be a little different and call him Mr. T. But yeah, he's British. So now we have the map, which we kind of swiped from him. But to complete the first mission, let's just go up to the faction mansion. I guess as you can see from here, again, being pre-alpha, we're still having a few issues with pathfinding, but they're getting better all the time. So here we find the pirate mansion, and it should indicate that the first mission has been successfully completed. Now we'll click on that, bring up the pirate mansion interface, and select both missions. As you can see, every time you select or hover over a mission, it will give you the reputation that you will gain from successfully completing that mission. You can select them both, or you can select one of them. The one that you don't select will go into a log, which you can revisit later on and complete it there. I guess you can see pretty clearly what we're doing here with the interface. It's very light. At the bottom, you'll notice we've got what looks like a rum bottle. That's actually player health, so you'll collect these out in the world. We have your toolkits over there as well for ship repairs and damage. So what Marco's going to do now is develop our special units building, or construct it. So an example of the management. The interface will come up. He'll hire because it's a special unit, you can only hire one at a time. And these are our cannoneers. They carry around a 2-ton cannon, so they're pretty big guys, but they are quite slow, as you'll see. Then he will go and get some basic melee units. To do that, he will obviously have to construct the building. Again, in final game, much of this construction is tied to reputation, so there are certain buildings that you won't be able to construct at first. So I guess something that's very obvious, we didn't want the player to have to wait any lapses of time for the buildings to be developed. It's sort of instant and in your face. So at the bottom you'll note he's got 5 sword or melee units and 1 special unit. He'll take them now to the loading zone, landing zone. Once the main character's in the landing zone, then we'll hit our rowboat and head out to sea. So bear in mind, this mission now is basically to rescue the pirate captain's or pirate leader's daughter, who's been kidnapped by the Spanish. Tomorrow she's going to get hung, so it's imperative that you pull this off. Otherwise, the reputation won't grow accordingly. What we want to do and what we have started to do is fill the world level with lots of things to do, pickups and that type of thing. We're going to have an interaction coming shortly with the mermaid. Again, an introduction point to the humor as well. So she basically asking if we can spare any seamen. We decline, so of course she tells us we don't know what we're missing. Using indicators at the top, I don't know if you'll notice above the cannon bar, just to sort of steer the player, lead them where to go. Another thing Marco's going to do pretty soon before we get to the Spanish stronghold is go past the Shipwreck. The shipwrecks are basically the source of blueprints. Blueprints are kind of essential when we're talking about the shipyard interface and constructing new ships, so you'll need the right amount of reputation, you'll need the right blueprint, and of course again gold being the currency, so it's going to cost you basically 3 ways. So you need to collect these as much as you can. So here is picking up a blueprint for a ship, which will then go into inventory, and when he's in the shipyard he'll be able to use it there. So basically he's now going to port in the Spanish colony. You didn't collect the wind charm. Okay. So now we're going to start moving. Again, the beacon steering where the player's objective is in the corner over there, but we've got to follow a certain path. So we now encounter our first combat scene. Okay. So moving through the city now. Obviously there are multiple paths that we can go to get to the objective. I think we'll take you through the appropriate one. I think one thing that's pretty clear at this point is we're not going after these extended battles, more sort of your skirmish type hit and run, which are more consistent with pirates and things like that. Also the amount of units that we plan on having at any one point in time.
Is it you're limited to 3 different that you can have at one time?
No, I think the basic limitation is one special unit or hero unit will have 3 basic units that he could utilize. I guess you're basically looking at what, a maximum of like 12, yeah. Basically missing quite a few, I guess, sound effects at the moment. But the game's going forward quite nicely. Now this is the objective, so obviously you first want to rid the area of any enemies and potential danger, because this pirate leader's daughter is vital to gaining that sort of first boost reputation, so to speak. Okay, so let's move in. And there we find the pirate leader's daughter. She's now going to be attached to the player character or main character. So we'll send our units out as a scouting party first, just to make sure that the coast is clear. Because the last thing we want is for her to die, because it's mission failure then. And of course we don't get the reputation that we're going after. So here you'll see sort of a trading post now, an example of side quests that the players can do, or looting possibilities players can do within the colonies. Destroy the building, collect the gold, and take that with you. But I guess in this case we won't do so, because we're got quite a valuable cargo with us, and we don't necessarily want to risk the mission going after gold. So how many units do we have left? Currently got 2 melee units left, and our special unit is still alive. All in all, doing well. Glorious, glorious pathfinding issues. So now, of course, the objective is to get them back to the landing zone. if Marco managed to pick one up, we have this thing called, I guess you could call it a wind chime, which is essentially a teleport from the Spanish colony back to the pirate stronghold. So if I collect a wind charm in the pirate stronghold, I can only use it to get back to the pirate stronghold. And we wanted to do this because, you know, in certain situations you'll have to get back there to hire more units, and we don't want the player have to experience another 5-minute journey back to the stronghold in order to hire units. So, okay, so yeah, I think while we're on the way back, we'll just do the second mission at the same time so that we can get the reputation for both. So Marco's now going to find the Spanish ship that's currently harassing the pirate vessels that are in the area, and hopefully sink them. We don't have wingmen. We thought, you know, it's a far more enjoyable experience and can certainly help build the learning curve as such if we, you know, just have one vessel that you're in control of. And that doesn't mean to say that you're going to face one singular enemy ship as well. So, I mean, it'll start out gradually, but obviously the intensity will grow in terms of the number of ships that you will encounter in certain battles and things like that. So, while we're there, hit the Control M. So basically you see this is the map that we have. We've cut out Jamaica and so on. We're currently basically just above the Caribbean Sea over there where we're at. So I guess from one end to the other is about 10 minutes if you're engaging in all the pickups and side missions. If you're doing nothing but plain sailing, it's probably around 5 minutes from one side to the other. So here we now find our Spanish vessel that is harassing our pirate friends, or soon to be pirate friends. And hopefully we're able to sink the baby, the bad boy. There he is, marked to the beacon. Obviously all these indicators and textures are placeholder at this point, but so let's do this quickly with the special weapons. So here we have our heat seekers. They've basically been designed by our Q character in our shipyard interface. So part science, part voodoo. Sort of a post-apocalyptic take on pirate times. I mean, we've got special weapons like, well, we call it the fart bomb. Currently what it does is creates a huge air pocket which capsizes the enemy ships. We're going to be having human catapults shooting Tasmanian devil type characters onto the deck of enemy ships, which basically destroy it from the inside out. Well done, Marco. Cool. You successfully sunk it. Now he collected a toolbox, which is basically for repairs if you've taken any damage from sinking the ship. So now we'll go back to the stronghold, back to the mansion, gain the recognition for the mission, and in a perfect world, or in final game, there'll be a source then for another faction type mission. Basically the mission structures are storyline missions which are aimed at advancing the storyline slowly within each faction. And then we've got faction missions which are specific to the pirate stronghold, and then side quests that you will pick up intermittently throughout the world through different sources, mermaids, NPCs, whales, dolphins, these types of things. So now he'll take the pirate leader's daughter back to her father. And gain the recognition. I don't think this NPC wants to talk to him anymore. The tone's getting slightly different already now. There she comes. And basically collected the recognition for both of those two missions. So this is basically the vertical slice of what we have at the moment, being at pre-alpha. That's pretty much it.